Hey guys, every once in a while I want to do a video where I go into a few techniques I've seen in the past. Not saying you should use these techniques, not saying I've ever used these techniques. These are techniques I'm aware of. They are extremely powerful. This is with regards to going to auctions. Can be tax sale or mortgage. Obviously, guys, here's your disclaimer. You need to do your research before you buy any property. Any property. What is the debt against the property? One of the things I want to say before I get into this too is if you're looking at mortgage overages, make sure you understand who is foreclosing and what priority they have. For instance, if Bank of America has a first for $100,000 and then you have Lincoln Bank has a $50,000 mortgage, and they're a second mortgage or an equity line even that was recorded after that first. Let's say Lincoln forecloses on the property and you go to the auction, it's a $200,000 house, and you're saying, my God, the minimum bid is $50,000, I'm going to buy this. Well, what's probably going to happen is no one else is going to show up. And you're going to think you hit it over the moon. And you're going to hit the minimum bid of, let's say, 50 grand, and you're going to own the property and you're going to be all excited. And a month later, Bank of America is going to come in and foreclose against that property for $100,000, and they're going to take it away from you unless you can come up with their 100 grand. Understand that. If it's not the first mortgage foreclosing, this is not tax sales, this is mortgage sales. If it's not the first mortgage foreclosing, you need to know that and be willing to pay off that first as well if you're trying to buy a property at foreclosure with a second, or basically not a non-superior lien holder is foreclosing on the property. A lot of people miss that, okay? You've got to do your research, guys. I have no sympathy for people that don't do title work on property they're considering buying. It's ridiculous. All right, having said that, here's some things I've seen. First is the next highest bidder scenario. This works as long as the property has strong equity, guys, and low competition at the bidding place. If you go to the auction and it's a situation where the actual bidders are there and they're submitting bids and you can see there's very little people there, or it's people you know, and you do get to know the people you're around after a while at the auctions. But if there's low competition, and I understand some of this stuff is online too, check the statutes. In some areas, this could be tax or mortgage, in some areas, guys, next highest bidder wins if the highest bidder walks, as long as the minimum bid's been hit. So as an example, let's say it's worth 200 grand, the start bid was at 100 grand, it's been bid up, okay, and it's been up to $140,000 now. Well, this technique, I've seen people do this, okay, you can say it's collusion, whatever, I don't know. I'm just saying I've seen people do this, where what'll happen is two guys will go in there and be bidding, one of them, okay, is going to bid at 145, and then right after that 145 bid is submitted, the second guy goes in and bids $175,000. Well, what happens when you jump like that, especially when it's been one of these things where it's been the minimum upset bid, okay, works real well in North Carolina, I've seen it, is the minimum upset bid, let's say it's 10% higher than the last bid, and these guys are just chugging along, beating each other up. What happens is when they hit the nuclear button and it goes from 145 to 175 is it gets quiet. Okay? That's what makes people think, wait a minute, I know it's worth 200, this guy just jumped $30,000. Do I even want to bid because he's going to come in and outbid me? He obviously wants it bad. I don't know if I even want to bid against this guy. Now, what I've seen, one of these things happens, by the way, one of these two things. Either bidding stops and the guy at 175 grand wins, or someone outbids him at 175. Well, if somebody outbids him at 175, he can just go, you know what, you got it. Now, let me tell you the pro to that, the awesome part of that. Next time that guy walks into an auction, people are going to peel off from the auction because they know that dude is serious. He knows where he's going to go. He's not afraid to lay it down. So literally having him come in like that is going to change the whole face of the auction. Now the other side of that though is you win. Okay, if you win, well, you got the property, reasonable price already, 175. Okay, or let's say you pushed yourself, even went to 180. But here's the deal. The person that had the last bid before you at $145,000, they're just sitting there waiting. You walk away from the bid. I've seen people do this. You walk away from the bid. What happens? Look up the statute in the state you're in. A lot of times, look up the statute, guys. See if this is in your state. I'm not going to lead you to it. But a lot of times, that second bidder is now the winner if the first one defaults. So what just happened? By bidding 175, this guy just secured the fact that this other person he knows got the property for 145. Now, I would argue that that is not collusion. Somebody could have outbid him at 175, okay? Somebody could have outbid him. But what I'm saying is, this is a phenomenal way, huge way to win. Now, he's going to lose his down payment, his deposit on the 175. In some instances, that could be 5%. Okay, that's $87.50 that he's out of pocket, okay, because he had to have, let's say, depends on where you are. Look up what percent you have to put down when you make a bid. But let's say it's 5%, it's $87.50. Well, if these guys are working together, the 145 plus the $87.50 is still $153,750. You got to factor that in. But my point is, I've seen this nuclear option work before. The other alternative is, let's say you're in second place at 145. Somebody bids at 175, beats you. You could actually approach that guy and say, "Look, man, if you know that second place winner always wins, you can approach that guy, right? And you can say, look, I'll give you 10 grand to walk away, and I'll pay you back for your deposit." And what just happened? He made $10,000 plus his deposit. He got that money back, okay, that he forfeited. So in this case, he made 10 grand. He's thinking, wow, this is a great hit. Meanwhile, you've got 100. You're the second bidder. You've got 145 in, plus the 10, plus the deposit. Let's say it was $87.50. You're still at $163,750. You did great. You bought the property for it was valued at 200 grand. You bought it at $163,750 total in. This guy made 10 grand and he's gone. And guys, always look for ways where multiple people win and you're setting yourself up. This works extremely well. Of course, you can also assign it. You could go to the guy and go, "Hey man, I want you to assign that to me," if you really wanted it at 175. But if you can pay him instead to walk away, and the second bidder is now the winner, you can really you can see what I'm saying here. You win. You got $163,750 into it. He wins. He's got his money back plus $10,000 for showing up and being the high bidder. That's phenomenal. Okay. All right. Now, the no competition, and you know the owner. Let's say you've been trying to work with the owner using our deed flip program. Okay, trying to get in touch with him, buy the deed, pay off the. Let's say it's a tax sale. Pay off the taxes to get that done and out of the way, and then you can basically pay the owner a couple grand, pay off the taxes, you own the property, flip the thing as is, where is, and make a quick hit. That's a great way to make money. We call it the deed flip. We have that on surplusfunds.riches.com. Surplusfunds.riches.com. You go on there and you'll see the deed flip program. But let's say you know the owner, they weren't willing to work with you. They thought, oh, I'm going to try to stand this guy up. And what happens is, and this works extremely well, guys, if you're in a state where there's a homestead rule where the minimum bid is higher than the actual amount owed, okay? So let's say the amount owed to the county is $10,000, but in reality, they're saying, hey, minimum bid's 30 grand because they do some funky formula. There's a minimum bid set up on half value plus the amount. It's crazy. You see this a lot. You see it in Florida sometimes. Anyway, you hit the minimum bid. The owner wouldn't work with you, so you go, the minimum bid's 30 grand, the thing is worth, I don't know, let's say it's worth $100,000. Minimum bid's 30 grand, there's no other debt there, or even if there is some debt, who cares if you can still pay that off and still come out ahead under the 100 grand, right, at a high enough profit margin. But anyway, let's say you hit the minimum bid, and nobody outbids you. You got a choice here. You can say, screw it, pay off the 30 grand that they want, right, pay that 30 grand, you own the property for 30 grand. That's a great hit. There's another way to skin this cat. The actual amount owed was 10. You could actually go back to the owner and go, look, I just won the bid, all right? I can get the property. Or I can pay you $2,500 for your deed, and I'll go redeem it, and it'll be in my name now. You get the deed from that guy, quitclaim deed from that guy, record it, okay? Record that quitclaim deed. Now you can go redeem it. So you go to the county and go, here's your $10,000, I'm redeeming it. Now they're probably going to say, no, we have a high bidder. We have to give him 3 days or whatever it is, or her 3 days to make this work. Okay, I'll wait. Come back when that time that when it's almost up or whatever, and freaking redeem it. A lot of the counties allow you to redeem it even if there was a high bid and it was sold, but as long as the high bidder has not paid yet. If the high bidder hasn't paid the difference yet, the owner can still come in, swoop in, and redeem it. That's what you're going to be able. That's the best way to do that. Anyway, you go in, you redeem the property. Now, what do you have in it? $2,500 to the owner, right? $10,000 to pay off the debt. You got $12,500 into a property that had a minimum bid of $30,000. That's pretty sweet. Now, you still could have done even better than that with the deed flip system we have if you get in touch with them in advance and make a deal with them. But still, that's a huge hit, guys. That works really, really well, and the owner tends to like that because now you talk about too late. You can go, look, man, I already bid. I don't care. I'll just pay the county. Or if I make a little more money, I'll pay you money for the deed, redeem it, and do it that way. Your call. You've lost the house. Either way, I can get a summary ejectment against you now for a few $100. The sheriff's going to kick you out. Okay? So that's a great way to go. If there was no competition, you were the only one hitting the minimum bid. Believe it or not, we're starting to see more and more of that. Up to this point, people have been really driving all the property up to retail. We're seeing more and more, though, where stuff is slipping through the cracks. So this is a great technique to use. I thought I'd share that with you. It's a Friday. It's one of those days. Hope this comes in to help you. Hope this is a way you can something you can actually use that is actionable for you as an investor. And if you have any questions, there's contact information on the website. Thanks for stopping by.